Welcome to the greatest place on earth, my doghouse. This is just going to be about Otter Creek and the people. Most people there seem to be great, great people. Yeah, Otter Creek intrigues me in the way that being from a small town, which I was, the closest town, which was about close to 20 miles away, had 22 people unincorporated. From my house to where I grew up in two different places. One's a little closer than the other, but not that much. Maybe 4 or 5 miles difference between the two places that I lived. And it was about close to 50 miles into Arco, where I went to junior high and high school. So this is a perspective from somebody from a small town. And believe me, Otter Creek would be a metropolis compared to where I grew up. Now, when you got to Arco, it was obviously bigger. But just get a couple things straight right now. I do have teeth, by the way. I just don't do it because my reflexes can act up at any time, so I don't put them in till I get something different. I do wear them. Okay, it's just don't do it on the air. And a couple of things about me before I get into Otter Creek. One is, yes, I went to a one-room schoolhouse. Then through the sixth grade, it was a two-room schoolhouse. One to through three was a one-room schoolhouse. Fourth, fifth, and sixth grade, we went to a two-room schoolhouse in Arco. I mean in Howe. Then the seventh to graduating was in Arco. Well, I did ride the short bus. There was two buses. It had nothing to do with being a short bus, as everybody makes a joke out of, even I have. We would all get on there because we were out farther than everybody else. When that short bus come into Howe, then we'd get on the big bus to go into Arco. Vice versa going home. Big bus, Arco to Howe, Howe to home was a small bus. And ever since I heard that after I was out of school, I always thought it was kind of funny. But after that, I, uh, 19 years, I was around a small area. So what I'm saying about Otter Creek, there's some good, there's some bad, and there's some people indifferent. I just want to get that straight that I know there's trouble there. A guy has started trouble there and obviously has. I do not hate that guy. I hate his actions. Now, people, if you're going to listen to this, listen to what I'm saying. I don't hate that guy. I hate the actions of that guy and his minions. I've never been to Otter Creek. Don't plan on it. Yeah, if I ever did go to Florida, I'd be about 2 hours or a little less away from there because I got a sister I haven't seen in years that live down there, and I'd love to see her. So if I did go to Florida, which I'm not, it would be there. Whether I'd ever drive down and look at Otter Creek, I don't know. I've seen pictures of Otter Creek and I love it. So this is, and what I get from other people, it looks like most people there are really, really good people and don't deserve what's going on. This guy is, in my opinion, and like I said, I don't hate him, is he just doing stuff for content, obviously. And the lawsuit and everything against Lynette is a joke, even though it may go through because you know how court systems work. Sometimes they work for you, sometimes they don't. But he comes in there, an outsider, and I'm not saying that being critical, because we had a lot of people move in from not that area. Nobody cared unless they tried to tell people how to run their lives. Then they were offended and would call him an outsider. Yeah, technically, the other two aren't from there either by any means. And most people define an outsider when they say that is not necessarily somebody that lives right in that town but lives in the area. So I know this guy's gone out there and say, "Well, he used to live over here, now he lives in town. He's an outsider." No, that ain't what they mean, Jeremy, excuse me. Slow down and think about it. Jeremy has every right in this world to go out and make money. Nobody has a right to stop him, but he also has a right not to uh, demean people to get what he wants for his content. In my opinion, that's the way it seems. If it's not, he's making it seem that way. So that's not me doing it. That's not me saying it. That is what's out there. And this guy, the things he does, you got to watch him. Even though, like I said, I'm going to keep repeating this. I don't hate him. I hate his what he's doing, not him as a person. And there is two difference. You can like somebody and not like what they're doing. And that's the way I am. I'm indifferent about him, but I do not like the way he does things. And them are my opinions. And things, you hear both ways from this guy. He's good, he's bad, he's indifferent, or whatever. Everybody has their opinion of him and have every right to do. He's kind of two-faced in the way that he will go after somebody, call them names and everything else. As soon as they call him something, he wants to have a lawsuit on him. He's being two-faced in that way. Once again, his actions, not him as a person. Well, in this case, it's kind of the same in a way. But you have to distinguish between the two. Now, he does do that. I mean, look what he's doing with that lawyer trying to, and it's because he knows he screwed up. He's trying to get him off this case now and make him a witness because of the fool he made out of himself during the depot. Anybody in most states or counties would throw that thing out based on how Jeremy acted. No questions. His lawyer, obviously, if it's true what they're saying was, and nobody will know until the depot's released, but if it's true, what seems to be coming out, Jeremy's lawyer needs brought up on charges of how he was handling that whole situation. And everybody will go, well, no, that's different. No, that lawyer had no business of not stopping him. Therefore, if you don't believe that, look at the depot that's out there with Lynette. This lawyer is not that good a lawyer. He may get away with things with this, and he probably will, but look at the whole picture. He's not that good. No lawyer would let his client go on like he does. Is it partly money? I don't know. I'm not even accusing him of that because there could be 100 things he's letting him do that with, but it sure don't seem good. So now he's trying to get Bruce as a witness, all that is to divert, and it's obvious. The two of them's trying to divert because they know they screwed up. This isn't whether you hate him or like the guy. You look at it down the middle, and it wasn't good how he did that. If he goes to court and acts that same way, it is going to be bad for him. Do I hope he's that radical when he goes to court? No. Because when it goes to court, the truth needs to come out. Both sides have every opportunity to argue their point. Being an ass like that is not arguing your point. Being an ass like that could make you lose. Who knows what the judge is going to say on after he reads the depo? He may not be too happy with either one or all of them. He could, if it was me personally, if it's hinted around what was out there and how he said it, and Jeremy has said some things he said, I would throw the whole case out with prejudice. Because this is not a shit show. This is all for show on YouTube and other spots, in my opinion, for money. And it shouldn't be. If there was wrongdoing done, it should be handled through the courts. Now, I'm not necessarily a fan of Lynette or John. I'm not their enemy by any means, and I don't know them, but I don't know how. Obviously, they haven't had the greatest lifestyle in the world, in my opinion, but that's okay. None of us do. We all strive to get better, and I do wish everyone, all three of them, a great and happy Merry Christmas. People in that town has stood up. People in surrounding areas has stood up to protect Lynette from Jeremy. The 6 foot fence is a privacy fence. And when you stick the camera over it and go by, you're not protecting yourself. You're being a jerk and putting it out on YouTube for money. And it's obvious. I mean, you can do what you're doing unless you get stopped by the courts. But still, don't think most people buy into what you're doing there. Now, across the country, yeah, probably so. You got a lot of followers and you worked hard to get them. But when you stick a camera over the phone, that's harassment. In the state I'm from, you'd have charges brought up against you. You wouldn't get away with it here because other people have tried similar things and it didn't work out too good for them. So, you got to think about that too. Things I hear on here that people protecting him, I can't believe it. He's got all this money, and I guess some guy the other day or yesterday, maybe I'm not sure when, say he's giving up his cable bill for the month to give him money. Hello, the guy's got all the money, and he had said this. People have said they got it on tape, and I have not heard this. So others out there have said they have it on tape. Him saying, insinuating about people giving money. They're suckers and will give you money when you ask for it. I'm sure that's going to come out eventually too, if it's out there. But why give up? Here's a guy that got all the money. I mean, he ain't rich. I really can see that, but he's got money. He's rich enough to buy $1 million home. You think he needs money for his lawyers or cry and get you to do stuff on whatnot, and nobody sees what he is doing? It's interesting. It's so obvious, and yet people are willing to do what they're doing for him. You know, and I'm not even comparing as far as him and Jim Jones, but some of the attitudes of the people there and how they work are similar in the way they can get people to follow them and give them money. No, Jeremy is not even close to Jim Jones, don't get me wrong. But the idea you can get people to do what both of them did to satisfy your own needs, that's interesting. How do people do that? How do people not stop and think about what they are doing? No, I don't care who criticizes me about this. One, I'm not monetized. Two, I do have quite a few viewers, but it's not coming from podcasts. They're coming from my shorts I put out, and I put out a hell of a lot of shorts. And which means if I want monetized, I got a long, long ways to go. You know how many hours did it take? From 15 to 30 minutes, or 15 to 30 seconds, most of my shorts are. Do the math. That's what I like to do is put out shorts, and I really love doing it. These are just things I see because small towns do always mentally affect me when I see being done because that's how I grew up. That don't leave you regardless of how old you get. But some of his followers, I just scratched my head. I had one night, or last night, one come on here and said, well, Lynette said it's going to beat her mouth or something like that. She told me it was sad. First of all, it's slap your mouth, not beat your mouth. Two, obviously that don't happen. That was a phrase for whatever reason she said. And most mothers and parents, even in my time, would say something like that or beat your ass or whatever. The only problem with back then, now there was 10 kids mom and dad had. Dad had two others, but they were older. But mom and dad had 10 kids. We were never abused. At times we thought we were, just because we didn't get what we want. We were very much disciplined, not beat, but disciplined, and very strict on most things. More the older, by the time it got to me, because I'm number 9 and my little sister's 10, we got away with a little bit more than the others did. But we still had rules to follow. And no, mom, dad never left a bruise on us or anything like that. We always didn't have what we wanted. We always had food. There was no problem there at all. But sometimes Christmas and that, sometimes we were a little short because that many kids overall. I probably got a few more things than my older brothers did because most of them were gone by then, and my sisters. So we had great Christmases. But what I'm getting at, we were not abused. And when I see crap like this, people saying this, I bet you this person that said that or a member of their family has said something similar but never done it. Because mothers and fathers are the same way. They'll say something stupid to their kids. Not as much as the kids say stupid things to their parents, but I've been told, I'll beat your ass if you don't do that. I'm going to go get a willow and switch your butt with it because you know better than that. That ain't abuse. That's getting you to do what they want you to do, and we did. Guess what? 10 kids. Nobody ever went to prison. I got a couple of brothers that spent a day or two in jail. That's it. So, what you're saying, this person was saying and making it sound like there was something wrong with what she said. Obviously, there wasn't. Like 27 times to CPS is being called or whatever they call them there, and no legitimate complaints at all. All have been frivolous and lies. Therefore, them thinking that because Jeremy said that, it has to be true, it's BS. As far as I'm concerned, and what it looks like, and let me get this straight again, I do not hate Jeremy. I don't like his ideas and his motives. A big difference. But, you know, you got to realize that people are people and will do what they do. Jeremy does that too. You don't have to like him what he does, but he does do it. Don't have to like what I do because I do it. I'm 100% no threat to the guy. I'm because people I get views from, not the same one he's going to get views from, are very few. But you know, he could go after this child because he hates the mom and the John. That's it. He is going after that child. And this is the way it looks on here, Jeremy. If it's not, uh, there's something wrong because this is the way it's coming off by actions, not words. Is going after that kid, saying how bad she is, and you even said she couldn't talk, which was proven false. Said that she didn't have that disease in your opinion, and you was entitled to that opinion, but paperwork says otherwise. People have lived in worse conditions than they do. They don't live in the best conditions in the world, obviously. How many times, Jeremy, with your kids, and I know one of them's name, but I ain't mention them, but your kids, you screwed up. Obviously, you did because you couldn't see them afterwards. And you're the one out there saying how good you a parent you were and how you know how that child should not live. Well, you didn't do a perfect job of yourself. I didn't do a perfect job either. I never do a perfect job about anything I do, and I'll admit it. But there was never, ever, ever abuse anywhere. But I just, you know what Jeremy and his family went through is what Jeremy and his family went through. You know, it's just the way it was or is. That same respect should be shown for Harley. If you don't show that same respect for Harley, all you are doing is doing Jeremy's dirty work. Yeah, that house ain't completed, obviously, and maybe it should have been by now. But how many of you, and I've heard it on here too, so through different podcasts that's come out. What if you don't like that place and the way it is, and you think it needs fixed? Why ain't you here doing something? Now this is people that are behind Jeremy. I'm not for Jeremy or against Jeremy. I'm just saying what is there. But they went out and started doing things. They went and cleaned it up. It wasn't all that bad, and nobody says it's that bad. Granted, that area is going to stink. That I wouldn't have never got the property there. You got swampland Jeremy's got. You got this place. It's not going to smell the greatest. That's just by common sense. So I would have personally never got that property. But, you know, these people went out and helped put a fence up so they could have privacy. And some idiot with his cameras got to peek over the fence because that's one, paranoia. There's no damn business you have putting that camera over the fence. Two, it shows you more what it looks like is you want a whole bunch of content and to hell with them and the family. And I could be wrong, and I ain't saying this is the case. I'm just saying what it looks like. It looks like you don't care about any of them three. Otherwise, you would not be doing that. You obviously, if that's the case, you're putting money above a person. You say you're a Christian? Ah, no. You may not be a Christian, but maybe not a good one. My mom, in all the years, she died at 93 of B cell cancer. I probably didn't even see her in a dress 20, or a pair of pants 20 times. Maybe less. But she was a true Christian down to everything. I know people on here, and I don't say you're antichrist or whatever. Or what? No, you're not. My mom would have said because of the actions and how you treat people in that town, would have said you're not a very good Christian. She lived Christianity to the T. I don't. Don't get me wrong. I've never been in jail, never been in prison. Got a couple of speeding tickets and backed into somebody one time, but outside that, nothing. You know, you have to treat people good. This isn't about defending Jeremy. This isn't about not defending. This is about how to do the right thing. What he is doing to that family there is not the right thing. And somebody said there's some other families there too that is not happy with Jeremy. So he really is an outsider because of what he's doing. Now, don't get me wrong. Some of the stuff Jeremy did or brought out was good. Now, I probably would be buddies and BS with John. I wouldn't have a problem with that. I wouldn't want to be living by him by any means. I don't want to live by anybody, be truthful. But Russell, I'd probably be okay talking to him. Would I ever vote for him for city council if I lived there? Hell no. He caused too much chaos and really didn't do what he should be. Don, would I vote for him? No, I'd probably get along with Don. But that don't mean I'd have to vote for him. Remember, the only reason Don is not on that city council is not because of Jeremy. It's because Don walked out. If he would not have walked out, he would have been there. Russell could have very well been on that board again, or, or the city council again, if he wouldn't have tried to manipulate to get on it without filing proper paperwork by getting in, changing his term to 2 years. And because of that scheming, he caused himself problems, not Jeremy. Yes, Jeremy is a pain in the ass to both of them, and a lot of it wasn't called for. But the actions of them two, they have to be responsible for their actions, as Jeremy's going to be responsible for his actions. Now, the stupidity, in my opinion, of going after Bruce as a defendant and after Tully's as a defendant, that is so stupid. All that is to do is to deflect. Good way to deflect, though, but is it right? Are you so afraid you screwed up, you have to do something like this? Is your lawyer so afraid that you got to come up with dumbass ways to try to stop it? And they are dumbass ways, by the way. No doubt at all that's the way that is. But it just blows my mind. People will give him money left and right. I mean, it's their business to give him money, but I don't get it. All that money he has, and yet will siphon off everybody else. His what not if he gets money off of that, that's one thing. Just give him money to be giving him money to sacrifice something you have for no gain at all. And I don't mean that in a bad way, because I've sacrificed for no gain at all for other people. But the gain is in the heart. In this case, the gain is in somebody's pocket, then laughs at him. Sometime, and it's supposed to be out there, that is going to come out. But his minions and his buddies will defend it and make up lies to make it look good. They are afraid of Jeremy and them losing money and content, that they are afraid to stand up to him when he is wrong. And that's a pathetic way to do things in life. If he's wrong, stand up to him. If he's right, tell him he's right. But obviously, and one person, I ain't going to get into who, but it's out there, got monetized for some reason and was crying they were losing money. So that tells you right there that certain person was more interested in the money than the truth. It seems to me, and maybe it's totally opposite, the way Jeremy is doing things, it sure seems the money is running whatever he is doing. If money goes down, he is hurt by it. And like I said, maybe he's not, but that's the way it's coming out. So if you want, Jeremy, if this stuff you don't want to come out and you're saying it wrong or it's being perceived wrong, say what the difference is. You don't need to go out and criticize people. You don't have to go make fun of them, because when they do the same thing to you, exactly, you want to sue them, but you think you can. I seen a clip one time, Jeremy saying he can go on this property. There was no trespassing signs and that. And every time Thomas goes, he can't go there. It's private property. It's private property. And he was doing the exact same thing. So he's like a lot of politicians. I can do what I want, but you can't do what you want. What you do, even though it's the same, is wrong. I do it, it is right. That's a narcissist, a bully. I'm not saying he is, but that's exactly what a narcissist and a bully would do. And it's a shame, because he had good things going there, and he seems like to me he turned it around to make money and sacrifice that whole town for his own good. Not the town's good, because I 100% guarantee you not his words, his actions are not Christian actions. They are totally opposite of a Christian's actions. Even a bad Christian has better actions. But it needs to stop. Come together. Leave them alone, they leave you alone. And I agree with two Lees that, and I haven't, it could be out there, but it doesn't show. Where did they physically stalk you anywhere? Are they at your house? Are they following you to the stores? what exactly or how can you get a protection order in another state? Remember, if they ever decide to put a protection order on you again, that protection order will precede Ohio's protection order. That's how that works. You can still go and complain about it, but it ain't going to do you no good. You can have all the complaints against them too you want. It's not going to do any good. It will get you views, though, and it probably will get you more money to go after them. But reality, what you're doing is wrong. In reality, Otter Creek needs good people there. And I'm not saying leave, that's your business, you being there. Otter Creek is so, what the people I've seen when they're just out there talking or whatever, seem like a whole bunch of good people out there. And hearing some of the people from there love that town and love what's going on around except what you're doing. So when you really think about it, maybe it does come down to money over people, money over ethics, money over Christ. Think about it. And Jeremy, like I said, I don't hate you at all. I wish you the best on making money. I don't believe sometimes how you make your money is the greatest way, but that is your business. I have a right to express my opinion about things, and I do. I, I knew, like I said earlier, I will never probably get to go down there. I have no reason to except close by see my sister, but outside that, the people I'm getting on here are for shorts, not what I'm doing here. Most people that have as many have a good channels going, even though they may be small. But when you do shorts, it's a kind of a different thing altogether. I'm not complaining a bit. And I haven't decided if I ever got there what I'd do. Because I never give up them shorts I do. But I do wish everybody out there, even including Jeremy, a Merry Christmas. I hope everybody's wishes come true as long as they're a legit wish. And I wish every one of you the best in this world. I'm for everybody. I'm not for things stupid things people do. And like I said, I think a lot of Jeremy's stuff is just stupid. A lot of stuff I do is stupid too, by the way. But I can admit that. I can admit I'm not this great person. I don't have an ego thinking, you know who I am, you know who I am. I don't care who you are. I know who I am, and that is what's important.